Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. or whenever I am available. I thank you for tuning in and being a part of this program once again. Welcome in as we get all set up here to do what we do each and every day, bringing you the information that we need to talk about in this city. Oh, man and women. Don't we have something to talk about on yesterday? You know, that audit came out and it clearly told us what's going on just with 25%, ladies and gentlemen. Still have 75% to go. And we're going to talk about people that's in charge. It's supposed to be large and in charge. And I'm sick of something that when you give the person or individual the rope to hang you, and then you're going to say, oh, that's a white thing. That's a, excuse me, a thing where they come in as black folks. They want to take over. Well, hell, guess what? If that's the case, if your scenario and what you talk about is true, you gave them the rope to come at you. So what are you talking about? This is not a Democrat thing. This is not a Republican thing. This is an individual who are robbing the system, and the system being the people, the taxpayers, to the tune of $1.8 billion. I tell you whose thing it is. It's those Negroes who sit on that school board, who make up and make decision who to give contracts to, who to defraud the people of this community. And pay attention, that word on yesterday in the 25% that they had already searched, they said that the word fraud came up. And you better pay attention. People don't throw words like that. Excuse me. People don't throw words like that out if they ain't got the proof. So here we are with all of these black so-called leaders, and I'm sick of every one of them that sit on that board. And I'll say again, they need to go because just with 25%, they said fraud, they said nepotism, favoritism, all of that is just in the 25%, but you got 75% more to go. And let me address all these black so-called leaders. I had the opportunity today to sit back and I kind of like listening to uh, Alex Coleman, uh, Channel 3, 3 at 3. He has a lot of these Negro politicians coming in on the show. And I was just appalled today to listen to an individual, to me, long time. I know she don't have a clue as to what she's doing, but they play politics in the black community. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of the good old boy system, whether it be a white good old boy system or a black good old boy system or any fraternity or sorority who think they got enough power to manipulate the people and push a narrative on the picture. And I'm gonna get to uh, School Board Commissioner McKissick. You're a good orator. You know how to try to switch things around, but at the end of the day, Commissioner McKissick, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And you get there on the program that I've seen you on Informed Sources. I've seen you on News 3 at 3. And you know how to spin things and people listening to you. But let me tell you something. The old thing that used to say, you can't spin a player that know how to be played. And there's a lot of people who out there understand what you are doing. And you're sitting up there saying that we need to keep the school board in place when you all have put us in this situation. I get less than a hoot about you and anybody on that school board because you're proving to me that you're not trustworthy. You're not worthy to be on that board. Just with the 25%, Commissioner McKissick, 25% has already put some of you, if they prosecute you, in jail. Because let me remind you again, Commissioner, the word fraud has come up. Nepotism has come up. Let's think about the superintendent that you Negroes put into place based on the first action that he did, Roderick Richmond. When you put him in as interim superintendent, who did he take care of first? Who was the first person that, when she didn't get the contract, the first action of this individual who showed nepotism, what was the first thing that Roger Richmond did? And when they used the word nepotism, they was talking about him. I would bet you that they was talking about him and others who played favorite. The first thing he did was give his wife the contract that she was not going to get. Understand that. That put him in the lion's mouth because the children, to me, really didn't matter. His wife mattered and her business, getting money off of the taxpayers, who a lot of them are trying to make ends meet, but you made her ends meet because of your favoritism, your nepotism. You took care of your wife off of the taxpayers' money. I would think that would fall under fraud. I think that you put him in that seat, that if they come back for him, if they take him out of the seat, you all think you're slick, but you ain't slick. You want to be slick. So you give him the permanent position. You took it back. You went back and regrouped. After taking him out, you put him back and gave him a contract because you knew in your heart some of the shenanigans that has been going on that school board, it was going to come to light. So what did you do? Put him in there, and by chance, if you take him out, you think that you're going to have to buy him out in a contract. That's what you did. You ain't slick. You may be slick to some of the people some of the time, but you can't be slick to all of the people all the time. Because when the people study, when people understand the streets and how the streets are played, see, you just an amateur, the school board, to trying to be slick. But there's people out there that know slickness when they see it, and you trying to be slick when you try to spin it and say, oh, this is a black thing. They coming at the black folks. It was the black folks that gave them enough rope to come at you. What did black folk do? They, you will find out, in my opinion, they manipulated the system for friends. They gave contracts to people who didn't deserve it. I believe, in my opinion, that other 75% is going to be looked into who got those contracts and why did they get them. How many contracts were given, and then those individuals who got the contract called up their buddies and say, hey, you can get some free money here in Memphis if you know the right people. Oh, girl, they giving out money left and right. And the people, hold on now, I'm finna say it. Oh, girl, these people are uneducated. Memphis. They don't know what politics is and how politics work. In other words, in the words of Shirley Brown, they stuck on stupid. But it sickens me when I see black folks that's coming together in a group that's trying to hoodwink you, to bamboozle you, to run amok over you. Know that whatever they spend, they know that you're going to fall for a hook, line, and sinker in the black community. Whether they coming at you or not, you the one that gave them the enough rope to come at you. You got greedy. You got greedy. And then you wanted to show the people, the school board, oh, guess what? I'm on the school board. I got power. What you want from the folks, in my opinion? What you want from the folks? Well, I tell you what you do. You just go on and get you a business, get you some license, and get certified. And then when something comes up, we'll just vote you a contract. I believe that 75% in law enforcement, we used to say, when you commit a crime, you got to do the time. And when you commit a crime, they used to always say, some of you need to kiss the baby goodbye. Because if it become down to prosecuting you, they gonna do it. If they found out that you defrauded the people of the city of Memphis, the taxpayers, they coming at you. Why you say that, Jenny? Why do you say that they coming at you? Because they want to send a message. And I don't blame them because you messed up. You defrauded the people. That word, that's not my word. That's the word that had been said. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see where I put that partial interview on my Facebook page, where the comptroller of the state of Tennessee, as an attorney, as a attorney general, as a comptroller who has been doing this many times, and as someone in his office who has been doing it for 40 years plus, stated that this was the most, and I'm paraphrasing, the most ridiculous operation of a school system that he ever seen in the audit over the 40 some years. Now these people do this. These people know how to look into the system. They know how to follow records. They know what's been misused. They know the game. They know this don't look right. And then you had a black young lady, I believe, that was heading it up. And she stated the same thing. So what are you gonna say? Oh, it's a black thing. It was a black woman who pointed out, along with others, that was a part of that. Wait, something going on. Somebody's stealing. That's what it is. That's all. That's all it is. You're stealing. And then you individual that circle the wagon and say, oh well, they just coming at us. They just coming for the $1.8 billion. They wanted to control it. But again, you gave them that option to come at you to this point. Now let me talk about somebody else who has been around here being the executive director of the NAACP. I had an opportunity, Miss Vicky Terry. that was on 3 at 3 today. And if you recorded that, you need to listen to her and her explanation when Alex Coleman asked her, what does she think? She first went on and said, well, we have a committee that we meet and we haven't met yet. We look at the issues that we decide to address, but we haven't. But Alex didn't ask you about your committee, Miss Terry. He asked you of your opinion. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking and I'm waiting on you to give your opinion. And let me tell you something. When things are rehearsed, that means to me that all of you have gotten together and have the same answer to the question regarding the school board. What did she say? After saying that that committee of the NAACP board met, evidently to me, you evidently don't meet that much because there's a whole lot of things that's going on in this city that we thought the NAACP would be addressing. I have a young lady that called me, told me about a situation that there we did. It happened on the radio once when I was on the radio. And then it happened to her, BK, when she had a problem and she had breast cancer. And she had a complaint against FedEx in regard to how they treated her and how they dismissed her. And she talked to the NAACP, and the NAACP, I knew, wasn't going to address an issue that involved FedEx because FedEx is and used to be the number one contributor to, at that point, they called the Freedom Fund dinner. They call it some kind of lunch now. Anytime you are over an organization that you are afraid to address that organization because that organization is sponsoring your biggest fundraiser, to me, you need to shut that organization down. Because the NAACP in the beginning was supposed to address the social ills of this community. But when you tied up, tangled up with big businesses sponsoring an event, you're not going to come at them, Vicky Terry. You're not going to do it because you can't do it because they sponsor your biggest fundraiser. So what happened? When people like the young lady that called me and I called back in the day and talked to them, and they told me we can't go against FedEx because they are one of our biggest sponsors. The same thing happened to BK, who we talked about that issue. And she basically said the same thing. What do you need an NAACP that is afraid to go against the people who sponsor them? See, you have got to understand, I don't care whether you sponsor an organization that I'm supposed to be the executive director of. I'm going to step to you if you're violating the people that I'm supposed to represent. Tom would say, well, you can't sponsor the big luncheon all by yourself. And see, to me, that's another thing. They always say we have to have handout as a black community because we will not sponsor our own self. If you look at the history of every organization that addresses the black community and the ill for the community, you always have big business that's sponsoring them. Why do they do that? They sponsor them to keep them from coming at them. If they violate employees, they can throw it up. Well, you know what? Miss President, Executive Director, of the NAACP, you know, by the way, we give y'all good money on your Freedom Fund dinner. We give you good money on the luncheon. Now we need to work something out. But I haven't seen or heard, and I used to be a loyal member of the NAACP when I was pastor, the district of the AME Church, the North Memphis district and South, had a lifetime membership that included all the pastors and churches in the NAACP. I don't know if they do that anymore because I've been out and retired from the church over 30 years now. And back then, that time, it meant something. The Rainbow Push meant something. When you get Paul Young and Mecca or whatever you want to call that organization where preachers got together and they say, oh, we address the ill of the community. We come together when it came down to taking down the statues of Nethium Bedford Forest. Brother, let me explain something to you. Jennings Bernard and the NAACP, I would say clearly over 30, 40 years ago, I just say under the Willie Harrington administration, we was addressing things like that when Paul Young was playing jacks and hopscotch with the girl. Paul Young and Stacy Spencer were playing jacks and hopscotch. I don't know whether they wore Bobby's, little white Bobby socks the girls wear. I don't know if they had them on. But then you gonna come up and try to say that you was instrumental in having those statues removed. That was being done when you were still in elementary or junior high. So we have people who want a grandstand. We have people who don't have enough courage to stand for the people, really stand for them. They will stand flat-footed, toe-to-toe, and say, this is what I need. I don't care how much money you give me. Now, we're going to have an understanding that I'm the executive director of this organization that's supposed to take care of people, but I'm not going to stand down when you are wrong. I'm going to stand up, no matter how much money you give me. You look at the politicians that are being given money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1.5 million to run for these offices, City Hall. The people who give those individuals that kind of money, they know they ain't got to worry about them standing up for the people who put them in office. So here we go back to Vicky Terry, who, when Alex Coleman asked her, she said, well, we meet, but in my opinion, he asked the question, do the board needs to still be in place? Oh yeah, I would say it needs to stay in place. Uh, I don't think anything is wrong. I think we can do it. Well, wait a minute, lady. How do you sit there and fix your mouth to say you don't think anything wrong? How do the state senator, state representative, and all of these local yokel dokos or whatever they are, could stand there in that circle and say, well, guess what? We think they're just trying to take over. Well, they're going to take over. And why are they going to take over? Because you gave them the room to take over. I pay my taxes for several reasons. The people who represent us. I pay my taxes because I have to, and I pay my taxes because I want you to represent us. I want you to have a voice to say, hey, we don't need to be raising taxes. We just raise tax on the wheel tax. Now you want to take on another project, new jail, new hospital that they already starting to work on over at the old Memphis commercial building on Union. They already started. They said we broke. We can't get paid until we take from Peter to pay Paul. But you don't start to work. That means to me, if they don't have the money, they're going to have to get it And how do they get it? They tax us. And you're going to get ready. You better get ready because there's another tax coming to you to pay for the jail if they build it or to pay for the hospital because they have already started working there. But we got all these people that's supposed to be standing up for us, like the NAACP, and that poor leadership. I posted her picture and I posted what I said in regard to her. And that's why when I look at things like that, I just withdrew from the NAACP. And that's been over 30 years since I've done that. But then I'm asking a question. It's been over 30 years. What have they done for the people lately? When do you hear from the NAACP? You hear from them when it comes down to the luncheon, what used to be called the Freedom Fund luncheon for scholarships and other programs. Supposedly, you only hear from them at that time. That tells me a whole lot about that organization. If I'm paying my funds into an organization, I want to see you working. I don't want to see you. You about as bad as some of these raunchy politicians that comes around only during election day. They come around when they haven't done anything to fix your condition in your city. Some of you, yeah, we take responsibility of doing certain things within our community that we shouldn't do, but at the same time, those individuals who are supposed to be leaders for us, they're doing nothing as well. We say potholes, blight in your community, but you got them there to address those issues. But they say we can't address those issues. They come up with all kind of excuses. They're given a phone and they let the voicemail go and fill up to the point that when you call, you can't leave a message and they look at it and see who you are and don't answer it. Those are the kind of leaders that you have in this community. So Ms. Vicki Terry, Executive Director of the NAACP, all you are is just a name with no bite and a position that you hold it that ain't worth two pennies. Ladies and gentlemen, all of these people got to go. That's the bottom line. They got to go because they are doing nothing. And don't be hook-winged. Don't be bamboozled in believing this hype that they're giving us. The people told you. I already told you just 25%. And they want to spend it. They got together and they're trying to convince you, oh, this is not the narrative that they are painting. Are you saying that a comptroller is lying to us when he said that this is the worst audit forensic with the 25%? It's not a 100%. This is just 25% of what is happening in this community. So I plead with you, don't let them spin the narrative on what is happening. The forensic audit is right. The people who was in charge, they failed to do what's right. There was nepotism, favoritism, all of that's in there. You got people who were dealing with contracts and getting contracts, not just from the school board, but all over, from the county commission to the city council. They were broke as Joe. But now because of these contracts that they are not qualified to do and to have because they got the hookup. They were broke as Joe, but now they live in large off of your back while you trying to rub two nickels together. If I got to get out and work for over 50 years, to build a life for me and my family, and I put my nose to the grind. Why don't these jackleg politicians, so-called black leaders, from every position that we have in our black community, it's not about you, it's about them. Look at your pulpits. They are living large from the pulpit. And you sitting there praising and thanking God, ain't no problem with that. But they spending this thing. If you put tithes and offering, God gonna give it threefold back to you. God's gonna bless you. If you're faithful unto death, God's gonna bless you, whether you put tithes and offering in there. He's gonna bless you. I believe that because God is a blessing God. God knows what you need before you even ask him. And sometimes he opened up that window, he opened up that door for you. But those so-called leaders in the pulpit will tell you, you need to put that in there. And you putting it in there when you got a bill that you know need to be paid, but you say, Pastor told me, Bishop told me, the apostle told me that if I do that, and guess what? If you're giving them your bill money, then you're the fool. I have to say it because this show is tell the truth and shame the devil. And you have devils in the pulpit. You have pimps in the pulpit. You have no good low down individuals in the pulpit. It's about them. You living in the shotgun house. They living in a million, $2 million house. Do that make any sense to you? See, I've been in that position of a pastor for 32 years. But I always wanted to make sure that the membership took care of their business first. But we always managed to know what to do when it came down to our responsibility to the church. But my thing was always take care of yourself first. Because God would want you to take care of yourself first. He said there are false prophets, false evangelists, false preachers that are more for themselves as leaders as opposed to being for you. Think about it for a minute. How many of them have you heard over the years that will tell you that? Another thing, take time to read the scripture, to get an understanding of the scripture. You need to do that. And I'm just appalled at the pulpits of the world today. I'm appalled at individuals who play you and tell you that the forensic audit with 25% of it done, 75% left, they're telling you that the people lying to you. They just want to take over because you're black. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You need to stand up to the plate. You really need to put these people in their place so they can understand, okay, it's serious now. Right now, it hasn't been serious. And that's the reason they played with the money because it hadn't been serious. Why would they say it hadn't been serious? Because you wasn't serious. You allowed them to give you ballots and you don't take time to learn. And they push ballots on you and they getting paid to push the ballots on you. $2,500 to $3,500 per man or per woman that's running for a position. They pimping you and say, I can get you this vote if you pay me. And then they go and tell you with the ballot who to vote for, and you go in there and vote for those individuals on that ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, they playing you. You see, understand, I really, really don't care what people think about me, say about me, because I can stand 10 toes down to anybody that comes up to me. That's the type of person I am and has always been. I've been taught that way, that you got to stand tall. You got to be a man in life. Don't be a boy. You're a boy one time, but the rest of your life, you're going to be a man. You be a man. And I say to the women, you be women. Don't allow a sorority. Men don't like allow a fraternity dictate to you when they're getting over on you and they're telling you we need to go with this individual. And you go with them knowing that City Hall is not right, knowing that the county mayor is not right. But you go with it because of blindness to the truth. I want somebody to call me 901-288-5779. I want to hear your opinion because this thing is making me sick, nauseated. Well, I just didn't know that we got those people in power. One who believe, oh, I had nobody running against me, so evidently I'm doing well. No, you BS the people. You BS the people. And they believe because you talking loud and saying nothing, they believe that you're doing something. You jump up on television and radio and try to pretend that you're a leader. But the question always comes to Caswell, Touche Parkinson. If y'all such great leaders, why is Frazier suffering? And you cannot deny that it's not. If they're in the pothole, then Frazier. Or Touche Parkinson, is it more about you getting people to be able to grow marijuana in the backyard? Are you that big a fool to believe that if they ever pass that where you could grow 15 plants, Touche Parkinson, that's all the amount that they're gonna grow? Have you ever thought about it if they pass a law like that and the kid go out in the back, pull off that, roll it up and smoke it, and then they get a high, they do something that to cost their life or cost somebody else's life. See, you don't think. You lazy, good for nothing, want to be important politicians, you are not thinking. And it's about time that we, as people of this community, tell the politician and politics who's really in charge. We are in charge. And for you, those individuals that'll sit down and tell the people that you did nothing wrong, when the proof is in the pudding, you make me sick. And I can say this here and I can say it in your face. Because you don't matter. Because you're proving that you're not worthy to matter in your leadership. So therefore you don't matter. We need to put people on that board that matter. Yes, do we need an oversight board? Yes. Because if any of you knuckleheads manage to get back on that school board, ain't nothing gonna change. Your mentality still would be the same. You need a fresh start. You need to get rid of these people and understand that we'll send a message that if you get in that office and don't do the right thing, we coming at you. Yeah, they talk about recall, but they don't want that to happen because it gives you too much power over them. But you got the power over them already. Is that when you go in there and speak truth to power, when you get an opportunity to push that button with a sound mind and an understanding what you're doing and the sacrifice that has been made for you to do that, and you give your vote away to a pimp, a politician, or wanna be politician that's pimping you to get you to vote, and he get paid for it. That's like a pimp telling a prostitute, go out there and make me some money. You go out there, sit out there all day long, all night long, selling her body, and she come back and give the pimp the money. There's no different with these people who think they're large in charge and they give them ballots. They say to you, go out there, stand in that hot sun, pull out this ballot and talk to the people, tell them. The pimp has already got his money because the candidates that's on that ballot has already paid the pimp. Now the pimp got to get the civilian prostitutes to stand on the voting booth line and push these ballots. And what they're getting crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Y'all heard that somewhere, didn't you? Didn't you read that, Brother Wilder, about the crumb that fell from the rich man's table? I'm sick and tired of it. This is tell the truth and shame the devil. Look at every one of those individuals that come on TV and tell you that the forensic audit, the 25% is wrong. And then they spin it. Well, look, they only found 1% of the 25% that something is being done wrong. Come on. Are you that stupid to believe that them folks ain't got enough on you? You know, when certain individuals come at you and say that you got this, that, or the other, and you've been doing this, and they would have waited 5, 6, 7 years, and then all of a sudden you hear that knock at the door. They already know what you've done and how you've been doing it. And you go there and wonder, man, why did they wait so long? Because they did what was necessary to do. And that's what we have to do. We've been putting up with this mess for so long, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go in that voting booth. Jesus talked about individuals and his disciples, that he sent them out two by two. It's something that very significant that he said. He said, these are they who turn the world upside down. You as citizens, when it comes to politics, you can turn the politics in Memphis upside down. You got the proof now. For whatever reason you want to talk about the forensic audit, you got the proof. Nepotism, favoritism, fraud. Oh, they talked about this. Even said this is the worst that we ever seen in any school system that they ever seen in over 40 years. And they just gave you bits and pieces, 25%. But the next time they give you, they may give you another 25. But then they may be calling names of individuals that you trusted, that the status quo told you, oh, they're doing a good job. But believe me, and hear me real well, hear me, that when they say you done it at a $8 million or whatever $1 million audit forensic, They know who you are. They know what you did. They know how you did it. And they know when you did it. So those who are sitting back, nervous, twiddling your thumb, you know what you did. If you got it illegal, you know you got it. So you're wondering now, are they talking about me? My question to you, did you do it wrong or did you get it right? The audit does not lie. And they're coming at you. They're coming at you because if they got you caught up, you watch and see some of these groups that have gotten audited, they coming at you. And what you gonna say then? You're gonna say, oh, we've been a fool. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to forewarn you. You got an election coming up. That you may have been a fool and fell into the okie doke in the past, but come out of that ditch and start addressing these issues, ladies and gentlemen. Start addressing these issues. Say, well, we're going to put our feet down. We're going to stand up and we're going to be 10 toes down when we go into that voting booth. When I go to the voting booth, I'm 10 toes down. I know who I'm going to vote for. I don't need a ballot. I don't need you to call me and have a recording saying this is so and so running for Shelby County mayor. I hang the phone up. Time is started. Boom. I'll look at the number and where it's coming from. I may not answer. Very seldom do my wife and I use the house phone. It's either spam or some number we're not aware of, because we basically use our cell phone. But what are you going to do? Are you going to walk in there and do the right thing? Perry Wilder, appreciate you, man. I really do. I appreciate you for your service that you have done to the gospel world for the radio station that you have been on for over, oh man, I would say 50, 60 years doing what you do. And you keep on doing what you're doing. And yes, they don't know how to manage the taxpayers' dollars, my brother. It's about them. It's not about the people. You have been about the people all your life. People who tend to be people who want to do the right thing. Think, what did Paul say? The more good I do, evil is ever present. See, when you try to do good, those individuals with that little circle who the forensic audit is talking about, they are evil. Those people who took the money, they are evil. Who lied to you that they're going to represent you, and you look in your community and see that you're not being represented, they are evil. Because if they was right, your community would look a little better. When they come to you and lie to you and say, I'm going to represent you, and you see that they don't, they're evil. So we telling the truth and we shaming these evil people who do not choose to elect you. You got a chance, April 15th through the 30th. Early voting. Let your voice be heard. Stand up to the plate. I got individuals who have come on here and talked to me, from the sheriff raid to the register office, register of deeds. I've had people who want to represent you that are good people, that stand tall and stand with 10 toes down. Their work speak for them. And when your work speak for you, they will, then those evil circle people that get together and say, guess what? This is the scenario when you ask about the forensic audit. The statement is you tell them that you believe we're doing a good job. And think about it, everybody who says that. And know that you got a forensic audit that's saying differently from what they're saying. Who do you believe? Do you believe the people who have been paid 8 million, 6 million, 8 million to do this research? And they come back and tell you your school board is messed up. This is what are doing. And as a result of that, do you fall back in that line? I'm reminded, there's a scripture that says, fret not thyself of evil doers, for, I'm paraphrasing, they will soon be cut off. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. Hey, tell a friend to tell a friend about this program. And I want to thank all of you who take the time to listen each and every day. I thank you and thank God for you. I appreciate the fact that you subscribe to this program. And I'm asking for those who subscribe, continue. Uh, those who haven't subscribed, please do. And you have an opportunity to hear this on many outlets. We do it here on Facebook. We do it on our Facebook page. This program will be there as soon as I get off. It'll be on MemphisRealTalk.com. That same name you can use on YouTube channel. You can use it on X. You can use it on Spotify. We're working to get it on TikTok. But the biggest challenge we have now is to make sure all of them work simultaneously together. And that's what I want to do. I want to build a situation that we can tell when people in our community are taking advantage of you financially, that you could go and look at businesses that are taking your money but disrespect you as an individual. We want to talk about that. That's called community togetherness. And that's what my whole vision is. But I need you to work with me to make sure that this vision, become reality. In the words of my grandmother, she always said, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on tomorrow. But remember what I said. Always remember this. Trust everyone, but do not trust the devil that's in them. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. You have a great and blessed weekend. Take care.